My vision for teaching and learning is to provide an inclusive environment for all of my students while preparing them with the skills needed to set them up for success throughout their entire life. In order for you to understand where my vision for teaching and learning comes from, we will start by looking at my Week 1 guiding questions for Foundations 2. Our first guiding question for that week asks us, what is your understanding of the role of education in society? I state that my understanding of the role of education in modern society is to teach students to become well-informed citizens with the skills needed for them to function as responsible adults later in life. This not only involves teaching literacy, numeracy, and other subject-specific skills, but also giving students the tools to be able to think critically, form their own opinions, and problem solve. As an educator, I hope to provide my students several opportunities to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills in order to set them up for future success. One aspect of my vision that has changed over time is classroom management. In Week 2 of Foundations 1, we were asked to define what we thought classroom management was. I defined classroom management as a series of techniques used to prevent a group of learners from becoming out of control and losing respect for their teacher. Now I realize that my beliefs on classroom management were a little misguided. After several months in the Bachelor of Education program, my perceptions of what classroom management involves have changed, and it is reflected in my Week 7 guiding questions. I now state that classroom management involves building respectful relationships with your students, building a safe, welcoming classroom environment, setting clear rules and expectations, and delivering organized, well-planned lessons. In the small group sessions of Week 7's class, we were asked to develop our own big ideas for classroom management after reading through some articles. I have highlighted 3 of my own big ideas that I feel are relevant to my vision. These big ideas are: to effectively manage a classroom, there need to be rules made explicit to students. The classroom environment needs to be inclusive, and the classroom and teacher need to be organized in terms of classroom layout, planning, and instruction. In order to enact on my vision for an inclusive classroom that prepares all students effectively for the future, I will use universal design for learning and differentiated instruction. To be an effective educator, I believe you need to implement both of these practices into your teaching, as well as know the differences between them. As I stated in my Week 3 guiding questions for Foundations 2, the focus on universal design for learning is adding tools and resources into lessons that are designed to remove barriers for a few students, but will benefit everyone in the class. While differentiated instruction focuses on providing different options to students based on their individual learning needs, while ensuring that the same curriculum expectations are met. I believe both of these practices are essential to building an inclusive classroom, as they are beneficial to all students by providing students with opportunities and tools to succeed in a learning environment. In conclusion, to sum up my vision of an inclusive classroom, I will take you to my responses to Week 9's prompt on what true inclusivity will look like in my classroom. I will invite parents into the classroom on select days in order to build a community and to make parents feel as welcome in my classroom as the students. I will be honest with students and make sure my assessments of their work are fair. All students in my classroom will be treated fairly and will have access to appropriate accommodations according to their needs. And finally, all students in my class, regardless of their situation, will be accepted for who they are.